spoke about their concerns about what's happening in Indian occupied Kashmir, as well as with minorities in India. There was Alice Wells, who's the acting assistant secretary of the Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs. And there was also another colleague of hers, and they both spoke about this in a lot of passion, because they recognize that there's been a communications lockdown, and they've also seen how there's a lack of communication. There are prisoners, still they're political prisoners, and a bunch of other concerns that these officials had. Now, also we're going to be speaking about how at the line of control, 23 diplomats and as well as media persons were taken to the villages that were attacked by the Indian Army over the weekend. These villages were in the Nowsari, Shahkot and Jura sectors, as well as Nausada village, where the bulk of the damage and the loss of civilian lives took place, where India had claimed that terror camps existed, and they said that they had attacked terror training camps, and all of these claims were refuted on this visit when all the diplomats and media personnel went and visited the actual area. Several diplomats after this tour showed their sadness over how much loss of innocent civilian lives and damage and injury was caused by these Indian attacks, and they just said how it was completely unacceptable. So all the claims by India have been successfully refuted by Pakistan, and the Indian High Commissioner was also invited to accompany these diplomats to the line of control, and he did not respond to that invitation. We will also be talking about the upcoming Brexit deadline that's happening at the end of this month, and according to the deal, how UK firms are still facing a lot of uncertainty and how that's going to be impacting United Kingdom businesses and the economy over there. So we'll start our program today with the guests we have in our studio today. We have with us Brigadier Shahid Jagir, who's a senior analyst and who's quite regular on our program. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. Sir, let's talk about this congressional hearing. Now, we had Alice Wells, who'd gone and she'd spoken in this hearing about the human rights violations happening in Indian occupied Kashmir, and it seems that the United States are very cognizant of all the things that are going on in Indian occupied Kashmir, as well as the issues right now happening with the minorities. They're very familiar with what's going on. There was also the Assistant Secretary of State in the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, Robert Destro. He was also one of the people who spoke up against the detentions and the blackouts. So, sir, what do you make of these hearings?
Thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, let me tell you one thing, that India, after having occupied Kashmir, have been portraying it as a place where terrorism is occurring, and terrorism is going on because Pakistan is supporting the terrorism. Now, today is almost 3 months to the lockdown now over there, but that has gone in. But the atrocities which the Indians have committed over there, it has India has not been able to sell its narrative that there is a terrorism going on over there. Killing, there have been, before the lockdown, there have been over 100,000 killings in the Indian occupied Kashmir, over 10,000 custodian killings, over 150,000 were arrested, 150,000 children, about have been orphaned. The shops and the houses which have been destroyed are over 150,000, and the 30,000 women almost have been widowed, and over 20,000 almost women have been raped. Now, this is a very, very alarming figure.
Absolutely.
Which the world is now turning an eye toward this. And that is why what you have said, that the American Human Rights Committee, Standing Committee and all, they have talked about it.
Right. She's
now,
okay, please go ahead.
Now, in order to divert the world attention toward these atrocities which are being committed by the Indians, especially in the Kashmir, and also the human rights violations in the other part of India, they have started, boiling up the line of control.
Yeah.
And the ceasefire violations from during the current years till now are over 2,618, which the Indians have committed. also we were expecting, we were following that the Pakistan is time and again saying to the world that India is all set to stage of false flag operations.
Yes, exactly.
Now, as of India Today, of yesterday's new paper, they have said that there were terrorist camps in 3 of the areas of Azad Kashmir, in Jura, Atmakam and Kundalshai. They have claimed, the newspaper has claimed, as per the army, that there were 40 to 50 individuals, terrorist individuals, which were ready to be launched, those who have been targeted. Now, that is what their claim is. But the fact on the ground is that, not one individual's photograph they have been able to show. The word is so advanced now that you can always give the satellite imageries.
Absolutely. And our Pakistan's Foreign Office and the ISPR have given an open invitation that send us the coordinates of where these alleged terror camps are. And again, there's silence from the Indian side, as well as offering the Indian Deputy High Commissioner, who's present in Islamabad, to accompany the group of the group of diplomats who all went up to the line of control. And none of these offers were availed. And there's just silence, complete silence on the other side.
All those diplomats, those who have visited along with the DDISPR. Now, it is very interesting to note their comments. The Malaysian High Commissioner, he has said that they are ordinary people and there is no presence of terrorists. Same goes for the Bosnians also. So, a very interesting and funny thing over there which happened was the local showed a cow which was killed by the Indian shelling, and they showed it, this is the terrorist which has been killed by the Indians. So, Indians are trying to fool the world. They are trying to portray the Indian held Kashmir's struggle, which is a legitimate struggle for the self-determination, as a terrorism, which the world is no more ready to buy. 88 parliamentarians of the European Union have written letter to the Modi. And also there have been a lot of debate in the American House of Commons and also in the European Unions, that these are the atrocities.
Yeah.
And now the Americans have also started, at least happy that they have started talking about it.
They've started talking about it. She had also said that we understand that several thousand people have been detained without any charges. Would you say that Pakistan and the world media has been successful in bringing about the attention on Indian occupied Kashmir? And she's also gone on to say that although media has covered what's happening in Kashmir, but their access is very difficult due to the security restraints over there.
That is the most difficult part of it. Now, the internet is blocked, the telephone is blocked, WhatsApp, I mean, all mediums of social media are cut off. Even the United Nations Military Observer Group, which is present to ensure the sanctity of the line of control and monitor the ceasefire violations and the damage which is done because of that, they are not allowed by the Indian side to go on the line of control.
Right.
Now, this is it shows that India do not care for any world order which is there, which is prevailing, which the P5+1 wants to implement.
Right.
No, this shows that they are now of the mindset that whatever the word is, we will do whatever we want. So that is totally, negating the world order which is going on.
Do you believe that the Indians are having they sort of have a wait and see policy, that let everybody make noise, after a little while it's going to die down? Because how long is the media going to continue to cover what's happening? Is it going to be on an ongoing basis? They've had curfews before for 7-8 months in the past, and gotten away with it with impunity.
You're absolutely right. This might be one of their, hypothesis of controlling the Kashmir, but it is not possible. The moment, why don't they lift the curfew over there? The moment the curfew will be lifted, the moment the people have the liberty to come out, they will start protesting again.
Right.
Now, that is the biggest fear which the Indians have, because the one who's from the family who has lost the life, the reports are there that the youngsters of Kashmiri youngsters have been arrested and taken to the unknown locations, thousands of them, you know.
And youngsters from anywhere from the age of 9 are being
And
detained
up till
in
the age
night
of
raids.
9.
Yeah.
Now, when the curfew will be lifted, do you think their parents will just sit in their home?
No, and this is how they get radicalized.
This
Because
is how
they get
they
arrested
radicalize.
without any reason, and then they get tortured and they get mistreated by the security forces. That is how they become
No,
freedom fighters.
that is how the Pulwama the individual who exploded himself in Pulwama, he was radicalized because of the attitude of the police.
Yeah.
Because he was made to kneel down and rub his nose on the road. That is how.
And that is how people like Burhan Wani were created.
That's how the
because
people
he
like
was a
Burhan
freedom
Wani and
fighter.
others, you know, and it is not possible to stop the individual from the right or the way he wants to live, and that is why it is not possible now for the India to control this movement.
Right.
It is us, it is a time that the United Nations must come into the play and hold a plebiscite over there.
Yes. So now the leaders the political leaders in Indian occupied Kashmir, such as Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, they're all former chief ministers of the state. They're still under detention now. It's the third month that started. It's about 80 days now since the revocation of Article 370 and 35A. So those leaders are under detention. How long are they going to stay under detention? Because, I mean, okay, there's a Public Safety Act where they can detain anybody without a charge for up to 2 years. So can they actually keep these leaders who've been former chief ministers in detention for 2 years?
This is very surprising. The leaders which you have named, these are the leaders who are pro-Indians, you know, and if they have not been given any laxity, they have been detained for so much. Mehbooba Mufti's daughter has to go to the court to allow her to move around
and she's the
in
one who's
Kashmir
handling her mother's
and
Twitter
allowed to
account
meet
as
her
well.
mother. You know, the thing has gone to that extent. Now, when talking about the other Hurriyat conference leaders and Malik Saab, you know, they have been put into the reports are that they are put into the jail in a size which is dedicated for the person who is on the death row.
Exactly.
They're
being subject to severe torture. We interviewed his wife and she explained to us everything that was happening with the people like him, and it's just horrendous because they're being put with mental patients, etc., for months on end, and just awful conditions, and without any kind of recourse. The families don't have any recourse.
That is why the Indians are trying to escalate the line of control. On one pretexts or the other. The problem with us is that they fire on our side of the line of control, kill the civilians, and then say that these are the terrorists. But we cannot do that because the other side of the line of control is also Kashmiris, which are our brothers. So we cannot do that. How far they did the same in this Balakot operation? They said that we have bombed and 400 individuals have been killed, but they could not prove other than hitting 3-4 trees over there. Now today they are saying that 200 terrorists have been killed as per the India Today. So, but there is nothing on the ground.
Exactly.
So, how much for how long the world will keep listening to the lies of the Indians?
So also, I mean, they are acknowledging that what they've observed, they're seeing that they're saying that they're actually keeping an eye on everything that's happening over there. Alice Wells also went on to note the increased incidence of cow vigilante justice going on in India against the Dalits and the Muslims. And she went out and she spoke up against the violence and discriminations against the minorities, which you're seeing all the time. And also Robert Destro, who was one of the officials over there in this hearing, he said that he's saying all these things, the violence against minorities and lower caste groups, he's saying that we're keeping an eye on it. So it's not that they're not aware of what's happening. They're aware of what is happening. But how many times are they going to be giving a warning to India without actually taking concrete steps against the country?
It's $1 million question. You know, Indians having the big economic market and the Europeans and the Americans' corporate interest in India is, you know, and especially now the power struggle going on in South Asia, it is compelling all these to take any action against the Indians. But I would say at the same time that are the corporate interests more than the humanity? They have to see this thing. When we see the liberal words where even an animal has a right, the people of Kashmir, as per their standards, are they worse than the animals also?
Yeah.
So they have to see that. Now, coming on to the other part of India, I was reading an article published in a newspaper written by an Indian saying that in Maharashtra, one of the teacher has been suspended from the job because he used to tell his student to recite Lapyati hai dua, what is the saying of the Lama Iqbal, which has nothing to do with the Islam and other thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is a mindset which is prevailing. This is a mindset which is prevailing, and Maharashtra's governor, the chief minister, has said that we may not be able to protect the temples and other things.
Yeah, exactly. There's also, they mentioned the lack of the eroding freedom of expression in India and the increasing use of sedition cases over there in order to quiet dissenting voices who disagree with government policies.
That's what it is. This is the product of the Hindutva ideology being professed by the RSS, which is now ruling the country.
Right.
You know, even if we go into the details, there are number of MLAs and others, lawmaking, constitutional body members, those who are criminals. They are proven criminals. They are in the government. So what do you expect from them? Now, the incident I was quoting, it was also that one of the fanatic group over there, Hindu fanatic group over there, have reported the matter, and the police, instead of investigating, they have terminated that teacher.
Right.
Now, similar is the case with the Dalits also. They are not allowed to, okay, Muslims aside, why not their own Hindu lower caste is allowed to, have the rights?
Right,
exactly. They are denied.
Absolutely.
Then their media is also trying to play and portray the same game as the RSS is doing.
And disseminating wrongful information. Sir, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this segment today. Thank you so much for joining us, Brigadier Shahid Jagir, and for giving us your analysis on these topics. We'll be right back after the break for our next topic. Please stay with us. Hello and welcome back. We're going to be now talking about Brexit and what impact that is going to have for Britons and especially for businesses over there, because there's still uncertainty as to the future of the trade deals that are being negotiated, which need to be further negotiated in the coming months, and also what impact that is going to have on Pakistan as well, what potential areas of opportunity that we can find out of this deal, because new trading partners are also going to be formed. So let's see what our guest today on our program has to say about all of this. We have with us Ambassador Shahid Kiani, who's a former ambassador. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. So, sir, now Brexit is sort of looming around the corner, and naturally Britons would be, you know, they're very nervous about the outcome and everything. The deal is somewhat has been coined. Some differences have been ironed out, especially where it pertains to Northern Ireland. However, there's still uncertainties as far as trade negotiations and all are concerned, because the main focus of this deal right now has been about Northern Ireland. It's been about the settlement of what Britain owes to the European Union. And it also has to do with the status of European citizens in Britain and vice versa. So what would you like to add to that?
The thing is that, as you correctly said, that that this Brexit has been looming since 2016. Now the problem is that the turnout on the referendum day was about 72%. So that means very high. When people came out in droves to vote. Now there were two types of people. One who wanted to exit from the European Union, with which the United Kingdom has been member for the last 49 years.
Yes.
And then there were those who wanted to stay within the EU. And you will see a very high number of young people who voted to stay in the EU. But those who wanted to leave are more.
Right.
So here the problem is that even the Labour Party, which is quite skeptic and wants a second referendum, is very careful on what it has to say, because if tomorrow, for example, they go to the elections, according to democratic system, even the Labour Party will have to see that the majority voted to go out. So even though they want.
So the reasons, let's just put a little bit of background perspective into this. The reason that people voted to leave the European Union were, would you like to just go into that?
This is extremely important. Now what has happened is, even when Britain was part of the European Union, as I said, for the last 49 years, there was a big casualty. Mrs. Thatcher was forced out by her party after 11 years because of the skeptics who were within her party wanted to leave the European Union, even at that time. Now, why they wanted to leave? First was immigration. Immigration has been an issue for a very long time. In the last 20 years, a very high number of immigrants from the Eastern European Union, Eastern Europe, which includes especially Romania and Poland and others, who people have come in droves within the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom economy has been moving very fast. They thought that this is a better place to work. Now, with these immigrants, other serious problems arisen. That those conservatives or those people who voted to leave European Union are saying that they were unable to amalgamate with the people of the United Kingdom. For example, the discipline, and then on the burden on the social security, burden on the National Health Service, for which the United Kingdom government has not been contributing as much as possible. And the people of the United Kingdom, since the Second World War, consider NHS as a mainstay of their living. So this was one. Second thing was that the rules and regulation the European Union has been imposing in the United Kingdom, they consider it's unacceptable. Then the bureaucracy, European Union bureaucracy. What the United Kingdom people said, that they had literally lost their sovereignty to a multilateral or a body like the European, a regional body like the European Union. And this, they had been saying it for a very long time, that they want to come out and to sign agreements as a sovereign country with other states,
right, exactly.
like trade deals and others. But it's not very easy, and I'll tell you why. Half a century of United Kingdom being part of European Union, so many agreements have been signed between the United Kingdom and the European Union, and for example, ASEAN having signed agreement with European Union. So it's not very easy. This uncertainty has impacted upon the businesses, and for example, many of the big banks have moved out or want to move out of United Kingdom. Services has been a very big sector which United Kingdom has offered to the world, services sector. Now, if after Brexit, for example, 31st October, for example, 2020, they leave, there will be a big problem, because again United Kingdom will have to sign an agreement. You see this vote which took place yesterday, what was it? A new law has to be legislated by the Parliament, which will set out the relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union. They'll have to, a total divorce of the United Kingdom from European Union.
Yeah.
So, but there would be certain things till 2022, like immigration, what will happen to the citizens of United Kingdom living under European Union countries, and European Union citizens working in United Kingdom.
Right, they'll retain their
residences, but
right.
then they have to be negotiated. Then visas.
Yeah.
People, young people, especially are protesting because they'll have to stand in the queue. They are the ones who considered it's easy to travel and look for jobs. The ease of travel, there will be restrictions on that.
Right.
So this is now becoming a big problem.
Right, so now
asking for second referendum would be another big problem, I tell you. If the second referendum, what is the guarantee that they have the same result?
Exactly. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. Now, according to certain reports, that output in the UK has already decreased due to slower global growth, as well as due to all this uncertainty that we're talking about. And according to the UK in a Changing Europe estimate, this is an organization, they said that the current deal with Mr. Johnson, in a decade from now, it could cut British GDP per capita from anywhere between 2.3 to 7%. That's a lot of reduction in economic growth, and it's a huge impact on the economy.
So, Madam, the reason is that this is a globalized world. One of the biggest leaders of globalized world is President Xi, the Chinese president, and he's also, in one of his statements, for example, he's been warning President Trump. President Trump has been asking for, unilateral, decisions to be taken. In a globalized world where manufacturing has more or less shifted to China, how can United Kingdom not be part of European Union and take advantages? There are many advantages being part of European Union. If you look at any instrument, for example, written made in EU, because what happens is one part is made in one country, another part is made in another country, and then they assemble them together, because each country has its own expertise. Here now, United Kingdom will, on its own, does not manufacture many things. So whatever things it will import, there will be a duty on that. Businesses inside the Confederation of British Industry has been warning that there will be serious repercussions after they come out of Brexit, because they have signed agreements with many countries of supply of goods or of import of goods.
Right. So now the EU is it's Britain's largest trading partner. So how do we see those trade relationships shifting now from the EU? Where do we expect Britain's future trading partners to be? What is the opportunity that lies there for Pakistan?
For example, I'll just give you an example. United States has been very upbeat, especially President Trump, saying that, okay, as it comes out, we'll sign an agreement with United Kingdom. It's not very easy. They think it's easy. United Kingdom is a small cog in the whole EU, economy. There are countries which have a bigger economies than them, or equal to that. So there will be a problem. There is so much of uncertainty. People do not know exactly what is going to happen.
Right.
As far as Pakistan is concerned, you asked about Pakistan. No, Pakistan trade with United Kingdom is quite substantial. Rather, Pakistan trade within the European Union is quite bigger than that, and United Kingdom has been a big supporter of Pakistan within the European Union, like GSP Plus. They've always been supporting us. So there is a lot of uncertainty of what is going to happen. Pakistan has been trading with both the pounds and the euro. So now with the pound getting out of this European Union, what is going to happen? There is a lot of uncertainty. Not a very big impact, but there will be an impact.
Right. So now there's another, we're talking about uncertainties. So the general, if there is a general election which is expected in the coming months, the Labour and Conservative parties have very different, they're very different plans as far as trade deals are concerned. So what are we expecting with that? I mean, that's another thing that's looming in the future. What's going to happen? Who's going to come? They all have different views and future plans.
If you look at Prime Minister Johnson's latest this latest statement on the floor of the Parliament, he says that he's going to go to the European Union and impress upon them that they should not give any extension, that extension which he had to write. There's the big controversy now that he sent a letter without his signatures.
Yeah.
There's big controversy because he is somebody within the Conservative Party, because looking at the he's looking at the elections which he wants to call, because he wants to be re-elected again as the Prime Minister, because he has a core arch conservative within the Conservative Party who want to get out of Brexit. Rather, 31st of October, deal or no, they want to get out. A no deal will be disaster of the United Kingdom because people do not know as to what is going to happen. This is, he says, I'm going to go and impress upon them. There are skeptics within the European Union. Rather, the head of the President of the European Union says that he's okay with it, but there has to be a consensus within the European Union countries, the head of governments, who should be able to okay the extension they want. The extension means I think the end of January 2020.
Okay.
So this is something they're waiting for.
Right. Okay. So now some reports are saying that job prospects are the weakest right now in the UK since a decade. And so what does the future look like as far as jobs are concerned in the UK?
If you see, the most important thing for any job certainty is the prospects of what is going to happen future to happen to the economy.
Yeah.
And then the movement. United Kingdom has been, like any European country, has been looking for the skilled worker to come to United Kingdom. It's not that they don't want Tom, Dick and Harry to enter United Kingdom, but they want skilled people. Now, skilled people can only come if they exactly know what sort of visa they would like to have. What, as a resident of United Kingdom, what will be the terms and conditions? These are all in the air now.
Right.
They just do not know.
So they're not sure about their status going forward.
And then the investment. Most important thing is, United Kingdom will have to sign agreements with with all countries of the European Union for the investment to continue. After all, United Kingdom is 5th or 6th largest economy in the world. It still has important, will continue to be important. But uncertainty in a developing country may work, but uncertainty in a developed country which has so much, it is a member of the G7. It's not an ordinary country. So uncertainty in a G7 country is counterproductive.
Right. And even when you're seeing recent reports about the public in the UK, whether they still want there to be a Brexit without any deal, they were very keen. A lot of them, the ones who supported Brexit, they said, yes, they should leave the EU no matter what on that deadline. So it seems like the public who voted in favor of Brexit, are they wary of these economic issues that they could be facing in the coming few years?
You see, the problem has been that the common man in United Kingdom does not know. Many people, many even experts do not understand as to what Brexit means. What are the implications of Brexit?
Is it complex?
It's very complex. So they do not know. And the referendum, those vote when they, it was not a very detailed one. They just wanted yes or no. And people do not know. There are now, we have read that there are many people who now see that why did they vote like this?
Right. Now we're seeing that there is now that certainty that there's some sort of a deal in place, which is good for the financial markets. But over the long term, how will the financial markets be impacted by all of this?
Nobody knows as to what will be the shape of Brexit. Another thing, you talked about the Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland, they backstop because try to understand that Brexit, backstop means that Northern Ireland, which has there is an agreement, 1990 Good Friday Agreement, which allowed Northern Ireland to have open borders with the Republic of Ireland. It's a very, very tricky political issue. The party, the majority party in Northern Ireland is still very skeptical because they are part of the coalition government here. they still need their support to do that, because at this time they are saying that the goods which will come within the Northern Ireland will have to be taxed. But this is a very ticklish issue. It may tip the election results. Whenever he wants elections, I think it will be a very, very tricky and very, very scary elections, because this may, the vote of the Northern Ireland or the coalition partner with the Northern Ireland would decide as to where the United Kingdom will go.
Right. Thank you so much, Ambassador Shahid Kiani, for joining us today. That's all the time that we have for today's program. We'll see you next time on Newsroom, and that's bye-bye from me, Sharmeen Ali, today, and our team.
Magla Hills, the heaven of Islamabad, the abode of God.